Hello everyone and welcome to the weekly comments roundup. Let's have a look at some of the latest comments and the intelligent questions asked by the fans and try to address them. So here's our first question. I wanted to be sure, when you want to count 2.5 milligram from the 5 milligram pen, what are you doing step by step? First you prime the pen, after this 2 clicks, and after you do 2 clicks you start counting to 30. Is that okay or wrong? Please explain why. Let's look at this again. Now in the video I have shown you to start counting from the priming mark. Normally the mark for priming is used to ensure that the pen device is working fine. So you have a couple of drops coming out of the needle and the needle lumen is filled. The quantity of fluid received with the priming dots is actually negligible. However, it can be a significant dose change if you are using a 15 milligram pen device to take the 2.5 milligram dose, because those 2 drops can be containing a significant amount of molecule. However, if you have a 5 milligram pen device and you're using the 2.5 milligram dose from that, then the priming fluid would not be a significant change. So for simplicity, if I'm using a bigger pen device to take a very small dose, for example, a 15 milligram pen device is being used for 2.5 milligram dose, then I would start the count click from point 0. But if you are taking a 12.5 milligram dose from a 15 milligram device, I would start from the priming point because the dose change is not significant. Here's another interesting question with regards to how long can we use the pen device? Because if you're using a small dose from a bigger pen device, it might last you 6 months. What to do now? I appreciate this is a genuine concern and a valid point. So again, use common sense. If you're using a small dose and the pen device is bigger, then it's perhaps better to stay on the 5 milligram pen device to take the 2.5 milligram dose, or even the 10 milligrams to take the 5 milligram dose, so you can finish your pen device within a couple of months. You might consider preserving the 15 milligram pen device for higher dosage usages like 7.5, 10 milligrams or higher, because the pen may not last you longer than 4 months, and that seems to be the most effective way of using the click count mechanisms. Here's another question asking the same point, that why are we not starting from point 0 and from the priming line? I guess we have addressed it quite significantly in detail in the previous comment, so I'll move on to the next question. Here's an interesting question from Haley Ann Johnson. She's interested to know, how do we find out that we are injecting at the wrong place and actually our injection is going into the thigh? Now, I have already addressed this question in the comments, but I would like to clarify this here again. Just like the injection technique, it is important that you are following the correct injection sites. And when you do lose a lot of fat, it is very easy to hit the muscle. Specifically, if you are using the longer needles, 8 millimeter in size, it usually presents by injection site pain. So if you start feeling pain on your thighs, it's best to rotate your site to the abdomen and try to have a pinch of skin folded so that your needle does not hit the muscle. Moreover, you can also ensure that you go back to the shorter size needle. Here's a comment from Sarah, who seems to be overwhelmed with the numbers and click counts. I don't blame you, Sarah. There are a lot of people having the same struggle. So I've made quite detailed videos about the number of click counts. Please watch them carefully. For the Wegovy 1 milligram, you would be doing at least 18 clicks for 0.25 milligram dose and 36 clicks for the 0.5 milligram dose. But please, this is not a replacement from your endocrinologist supervision. You need to make sure that you have supervision of your clinician. You might find it useful to have a look at the Ozempic 1 milligram pen device videos that I have made, because the click count on Wegovy would be the same. Here's another very commonly asked question, that what do we do when we do the second injection? Now remember, you need to see the device and learn how to use it. Whenever you do the first injection, the dial goes back to 0. So every time when you're injecting the second dose, you will do the same technique, exactly the same click counts that you did for the first injection. It is no different. Here's another interesting comment, that if we are using 7.5 milligrams from the 15 milligram pen device, would it not contaminate the remaining fluid? You need to see the pen device again. We are using the exact same mechanism that you would normally do for the 4 dosages that you're going to take on a weekly basis on a normal routine. You're using a new needle every time if you're using the click count, and this is not contaminating the fluid inside the glass vial, which remains sterile. You're only using half of that fluid without interrupting the remaining fluid. I think that's it for today's weekly roundup. I've gone through majority of the comments where the questions were significant. If you do have any further comments or questions, please do drop down in the comments menu and I will try to address them as soon as I can. Please make sure that this is not a replacement from supervision of your endocrinologist. Stay safe.